Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky went to the United Nations General Assembly today after having gone to the United Nations Security Council meeting yesterday to make the case for why his country needs to force Russia into capitulation. That may sound a little strange given the tactical updates that we give a lot here. And well, it seems kind of strange to us too. So we're trying to maybe get some help from one of the best minds that we know, both militarily and diplomatically. And that, of course, is Colonel Doug MacGregor. Colonel MacGregor, CEO for our country, our choice combat veteran, highly decorated, and just a great all-around guy. Doug, welcome back to the show.
Sure. Happy to be here.
Well, listen, you know, when you even heard what I said out there, when you even see some of the headlines, of course, this isn't surprising. We had been signaled already that Zelensky coming to give his victory plan. Even before we show what he actually said today, what do you think of his, I don't even know, the mindset, that what he's hoping to accomplish by coming up with a victory plan to Washington?
Well, the people that have kept him in power and made him probably close to a billionaire want him to sustain the war at any cost. And that's the decision in Washington, D.C. They can't admit to any disasters or any losses. They have to stay the course. So he's here to deliver the message that he and the 16 remaining fit Ukrainian soldiers are ready to march to the front and give us more long-range strike weapons in the hopes that we can entangle you, the United States of America, into a direct confrontation with Russia.
Well, and that comes close to getting to being bizarre. I think that the United States even has the capacity to fight Russia. More on that in a minute. But first of all, let's take a look at what Zelensky actually said, because he's going to list here what I consider a laundry list of aspirations. It would be cool if this were true. Watch this.
We must restore nuclear safety. Energy must stop being used as a weapon. We must ensure food security. We need to bring home all our captured soldiers and civilians forcibly deported to Russia. We must uphold the UN Charter and guarantee our right, Ukraine's right to territorial integrity and sovereignty, just as we do for any other nation. We need to withdraw the Russian occupiers, which will bring an end to the hostilities in Ukraine, and we must hold those responsible for war crimes accountable. We need to prevent ecocide and stop the destruction of nature caused by the war. And we must not allow a second or third phase of this Russian invasion. And we need to make it clear the war is over. This is the peace formula. What part of this could be unacceptable to anyone who upholds the UN Charter?
If this was like, say, February 25th of 2022, like the war had just started, and he wants to give this, aspirational speech, and wow, we don't know. We haven't seen how things have unfolded on the ground. So, gosh, I don't know. Maybe that's possible if the world, whatever. But coming now more than 2.5 years later, when literally his Eastern Front is collapsing almost, by the kilometer now on the Eastern Front, by the day, and they don't have anybody left in the kitty to put back into this. What sense does it make to even have an aspiration to, quote, force Russia to capitulate when they're on the ascendance?
I think this man makes P.T. Barnum look like a very modest person. He's a huckster. This is entirely nonsense. There's no chance for anything to happen along the lines that he's outlining. But he is really talking to the West. He's talking to the publics, the electorates, and he's saying once again what the people that have put him into power and have kept him there want him to say. It's not going to change anything, but it doesn't make any difference because there is no truth in the mainstream media. By the way, Congressman Thomas Massie has been trying desperately to induce the government to provide hard figures for Ukrainian losses and casualties in both people and equipment. And obviously, he's not getting much in terms of results from the government or from the Department of Defense. This is one enormous lie. And when the lie finally is exposed and this all collapses, it's going to be god awful in Washington, D.C., and I think across